So when I read about the story this morning of ALAIN Babineu deciding to walk away from the city's anti-racism committee, the first thing I thought is, why would you do that? We've been talking for so long about how we need one of these committees. ALAIN Babineu is a former RCMP officer. He's been working with CRAR. So what's going on? We wanted to find out. ALAIN Babineu is on the line. Monsieur Babineu, thanks for your time today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, listen, my first sort of reaction to this was, is it him or is it them? So what's the issue? What was it for you? Or is something not right with this committee?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the bureau. I guess I would refer to it as the bureau. I think in terms of whether it's him or them, I think it's us. I think it's the perhaps unwillingness to actually accelerate changes the way it was described initially in the OCPM report. And after a year, and I had a tremendous year, to be honest with you. I think I learned a great deal in terms of the city inner workings and the way the public agency operates in the city. But at the end of the day, if you're serious about tackling racism and discrimination as opposed to diversity and inclusion, I think you need to be looking at aggressive and accelerated measures, and I just didn't observe that happening at all.
So I'm getting from that it's them because they're you're describing a situation where they're not moving fast enough or the way you thought they should move. Should this have happened? Should something have happened quicker?
Well, it's them. I mean, it's not a matter of them. It's a matter of how fast you want to address racism and discrimination, and that was the key objective of the OCPM report. If you recall, the OCPM was about racism and discrimination within the city institutions, right? It wasn't about diversity and inclusion, which is a totally different aspect. Mm-hmm. And so, my belief is if you want to tackle racism and discrimination, it's like if you want to tackle sexual harassment, for example, it has to be done in an aggressive fashion. Otherwise, you will be at it for decades.
Which kind of makes it sound to me, if you don't mind me saying, I'm going to frame it this way. You tell me if I'm wrong. It's as if the city decided this was necessary. You keep referring to the OCM report, but they thought, this would be a good thing for us to say we're going to do, and then we'll just convene a committee every now and then, but really end up doing nothing.
These are your words, not mine. I think overall the report has had tremendous recommendations and calls for action. And I would stress the word action. I think I would refer you to the 1-year progress report and compare whether those actions were actually taken. And you can draw your own conclusion. But I would say, I don't want to be talking about the entire report because my focus here was basically on public safety or public security, rather, agencies in the city, as well as working with community organizations. And to some extent, I was able to accomplish a lot of the things that I set out to, which is really getting the polls or the opinions of a number of community groups in the city as to the way we should go, and also some institutions within the city, namely the STM, were quite willing and engaged and quite they rolled up their sleeves and to really get to the bottom of things and really get going.
So it's sounding to me like something went off track here, Monsieur Babineu. And I have to say, the first thing that comes to mind for me when I read this story is that the commission is poorer without you. You were there, with good reason. What has the committee's reaction been to your departure?
I don't know what committee you're talking about. You're talking about
the commission. Sorry.
The Public Safety Commission?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything from them. I've had some good rapport with the Commission, to be quite honest with you, and I'm very optimistic as to the new Public Safety Commissions is set out to accomplish. So I can't comment on their take on my departure, but I would say that if you recall, on May the 3rd, 2021, I was attacked. Right? I was attacked by the fraternity, the SPVM fraternity, as being a militant who had no reserve and was totally biased against police, and so that kind of set the tone right out of the chute as to what my relationship with the SPVM would be. Right. Unfortunately, it took 4.5 months for me to meet with the chief, the Mr. Caron, that's now left, and then I was allowed to selectively work with some selected units, which I must admit I was welcomed with open arms with some of those units, and they shown a desire to advance things. For example, the team in charge of the interpellation training, that the new policy that they have in place, is a very dedicated group of officers that were extremely engaged in the process and in the training that they were delivering to their people. But that was the extent of that. After that, that was it.
What a start, though.
I will tell you, by the way, the city has not had a statement. They've not issued a statement saying it's an internal matter. They don't want to get involved in this, which I found an interesting reaction. But what do you think? So you're not on this anymore. What do you think needs to be done, and are you confident that something will get done?
Well, I got to tell you right now, racial profiling and this racism at large is not about to be solved anywhere. That's not a Montreal unique situation. I mean, it's pretty much right across the country. Now, it doesn't mean that we should give up and pack up our bags and go home. I think we got to keep being forceful, insist on changes, and continue to support public policies and position. For example, the bill that the public safety the Minister of Public Safety put forward in December, some serious and significant amendments to the Police Act. I think we should be following up on that and make sure that it becomes law and doesn't die on the shelf. So I'm optimistic. I'm continuing the battle, so to speak, in terms of working with whatever community groups that's interested in my expertise, and whatever public safety organizations or public safety committees that's interested in my input, that's genuinely interested in moving things forward. I'm all ears, and I'm there.
Okay. I will ask you one last thing, not specifically to do with this topic, but so we have an interim police chief, a woman now, who said she doesn't want the job full time, and then we just brought back our last police chief to serve on a different committee. I'm just curious what you think of that.
Well, I'm not going to comment on the decision of the interim chief not to pursue that. As I said, there's a decision. He's got 30-some years in the organization, and at some point, it's okay to step down. And as so far as we're talking about the assistant director of public safety, the new position that was created. I don't know the individual. I think it's a good idea to have somebody within the city administration that has knowledge and understanding of the dynamics of the various public security agencies within the city. I mean, don't forget, it's not just about the police, but it's also about the fire department, about the legal branch of the city, and the city clerk. So I think the gentleman comes in with a well of experience and expertise and a political savvy to navigate all these things. And I think at the end of the day, it's a good thing. Now, the proof would be in the pudding in terms of the results, and I'm a results-oriented kind of person, and so I reserve my overall comment as to whether it's going to move the needle forward or not.
Fair enough.
So you mentioned you're going to continue to do the kind of work that you do with any kind of 100%. Community organization that that'll have you. You said, what would be your ideal next position? How could you best effectuate the change that needs to be effectuated?
I come and work for CJAD.
Yeah, or coach the Montreal Canadiens, perhaps. That would.
No, honestly, I do this work right across Canada. I talk to police officers every day. I assist and mentor police officers right across Canada, different police organizations, and unfortunately, folks that are experiencing racism and discrimination within their respective police service, and sometimes they need that kind of mentoring to help them navigate through this, and so that's the kind of work that I do, and also assisting people that have dealing with racial profiling, and so, I mean, I got my hands full. I'm pursuing my master's degree at McGill in the fall, so I won't be, I won't have a short of. I'll be busy.
You'll be busy.
Yeah, not a lot of free time from what I can figure out there. Alain Babineau, thank you so much. Appreciate the time today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Alain Babineau, no longer on that city's racism committee, which is just kind of interesting. By the way, when I said him or them, I do get the sense as we talked a little more that it's more about them and what's not getting done than what is getting done.
That was pretty darn clear.
Yeah.